I'm Ashley Easter.
And I'm Charlie Grantham, and you're listening to Serendipity,
the podcast where we explore everyday magic all around us. Welcome to the Serendipity podcast. I'm here with Charlie. Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
Today, we are going to be talking about a really fun topic, one that Charlie, you brought up. And when you mentioned it, I was like, this is brilliant. Absolutely. We need to cover this. We're talking about the magic of color today. And I just can't wait because we're going to talk about, some of the psychology behind colors. We're going to talk about what colors have meant to us. And it's something that really colors our world.
Yeah.
Or maybe pun intended. But we still often forget the impact that colors have. So I cannot wait. Charlie, you're reading a book about color. Is that right? Tell us more.
Yes. So Nate gave me this book. It's called Color, Form, and Magic by Nicole Pivirotto. The subtitle is Use the Power of Aesthetics for Creative and Magical Work. Ooh. So yes, he gave it to me for Christmas, and I actually read it, I think, in one day. It's not like a novel. It's like a coffee table type of book. Like, see, actually, it's not like
that's beautiful.
Full length. It's so beautiful because it's like has all these different colors, obviously, and the design. And so as soon as I got it, I was like, Ashley would love this. And so it's just really cool. And I've already put some of it into practice. So I thought it would be cool to kind of give an overview of the ideas in the book. And then I actually made my own manifestation collage using the colors and kind of like a vision board in a way, because I did do it for the new year. So I made it right before January 1st. And I was like, this is my 2022 manifestation collage. And I picked certain colors and certain shapes based on what I learned in the book. Nice. So, and I'm actually going to send you a picture of it, Ashley. So when I talk about it, you can see what I'm talking about, and I can share my collage online too.
Okay, great.
But it's interesting because I used colors that I normally would not have picked if I was just being crafty, so I think that is interesting, but I'll send you a picture. But I want to read a part from, just a quick little quote from the book. So at the introduction, they say, we work with the power of color and form every day, from how we perceive an advertisement to what we choose to wear to how we emotionally respond to artwork. Magic is an empowering practice that can help us achieve our goals and manifest our intentions. When combined, color, form, and magic are powerful methods of connecting to our creativity and to our higher selves, helping us work toward a deeper sense of self-actualization. So really cool. They kind of use concepts I think they're a graphic design artist, and then they use some psychological concepts. They mentioned advertisements, and that's a thing, right. The colors really matter for if you have a restaurant versus if you have a clothing store or versus
spa or something,
right, a spa, even the lighting, that all. And so it's interesting. And so it's because I think they're a graphic designer, it's so pretty. The book is just so pretty. But they take you through all these different things. So they do the basics of color, the visible spectrum, which is cool because I didn't know, I probably learned this when I was a kid, and I just did not retain it. But I learned some of that. This is cool. So this is the invisible spectrum, and they kind of talk about the energy centers or chakras and the different colors.
I was going to ask about that because that was popping to my mind. Is this chakra related? Cool.
Yeah. So I'll just read the definition just in case anyone who is listening isn't aware of what chakras are. So let's see, the first recorded mention of the word chakra is within the Vedas, one of the oldest written texts in India. And the energy centers or chakras that are referenced to in this book stem from tantric tradition. So like each chakra governs and relates to different aspects of our mind. So like I think like this is like your mind's eye, I think, on your forehead, and then you have like your heart, which is like where your heart is. So there's like different parts, and I love using, I don't know like a ton about the chakras, but like doing like using the chakras in meditation is like very powerful, like super. I've had some of the best meditations when I've gone through with someone who is using like the chakras. So they're related to color, and I'll mention a few, you know, when I'm going through the book. Another thing is colors are connected to astrological signs. Ooh. So this says, so I'm a Libra. So the colors for the Libra are blue, pink, and pale green. And then you're a Leo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Red, orange, and yellow, which I feel like really, wait till you hear what those colors mean. I feel like that really fits you. So anyway, getting into the actual color. So what did I say? Like yours were red, orange, and yellow. Okay. So the first one is red, and I'm going to read just like some descriptions. So some of the key words of red. Well, first the chakra is the root. Right. So for red. Yeah. And then the key words are action, attention, birth, blood, courage, strength, sex, survival, womb, war. Those are just some of the words. The day of the week is Tuesday, which I think is interesting that there's like, and the direction is south, which I also think is interesting because you love the warm weather.
Yes.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but then there's like a description. So like red is a highly visceral color. It connects us to the primordial parts of ourselves and demands our attention, which I feel like really goes with like Leo, you know, like, and I know you say like you love like attention and like, you know, like that's great. And it goes with red, which is the first color for your astrological sign. So it has the longest color wavelength and often appears closer in space than cooler colors. This fiery hue triggers a physical response within us, making our hearts race. So I don't think they say it in this book, but I remember like that's like an interior design rule, is you don't want to like paint a wall bright red, because it's actually like it does make your heart go up, because it's like demanding the attention. It's not like a calming color. It's like a fiery, like, you know,
unless
color.
You want it in a bedroom then.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it says red can also be symbolic of the mystery of life, the womb, menstruation, and sexuality, which is so cool because like you're hearing words like power and courage and aggression and action, and it's related to the menstruation, which I think is really cool. And I feel like we could like do a whole episode on that probably.
Right.
But
we definitely should, because
yeah. So that's red. And there's more. I'm like giving an overview.
Right.
Orange is your other color. Adaptability, confidence, creativity, encouragement, energy, friendly, fun, sexuality, social, success, warmth. The chakra is sacral.
Okay.
And again, like the astrological signs Leo, and the day of the week is Wednesday. And the direction's east. So I don't know exactly what like directions mean. So like in the book, they just put like the stuff, but they don't elaborate on like day of the week. But I did use that in my, I'll tell you how I used it in my collage.
Yeah. Because I'm seeing the picture here and I have so many questions.
Okay. So, and this also says orange is slightly ambiguous. Its associations and meanings can vary dramatically depending on how light, dark, or saturated it is. So add it to black, it becomes brown. Light orange often reads as yellow or light pink or light red, taking on the association of those hues. So it also shares many of the traits of both red and yellow. It's kind of like an in-between color. It has the intensity of red, and it provides like a sense of energy, stimulation. For this reason, it's often used in fast food restaurants to keep customers moving, which is so true. Like McDonald's. I don't know, like Taco Bell, I think.
Their top colors are like red, orange, and yellow, I think.
Right. Yeah. So that's, So, and then the next one is yellow, which is
Mhm.
also your third color.
Yep.
So this has stuff like anxiety, caution, confidence, cowardice. I think confidence was like in every one of yours, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, gold, illness, illumination, intellect, optimism, positivity, sunshine,
Hmm.
which if you love the sun, so I feel like
I
that really
do
is
so
like you're
much.
wearing yellow right now.
Yes, I am. I didn't even know.
um, the energy center is the solar plexus.
Okay.
What is that? Because I don't
I
know.
think I think so. You have like the root chakra, that's like the base of your spine.
Uh-huh.
The sacral, I think that's where like your genital organs are, and I think
Uh-huh.
the solar plexus is more like the stomach, like
The
navel
stomach. Okay.
area. And
Okay.
then I think it goes heart, throat, third eye, crown.
Okay. Okay. And the day of the week is Sunday, and the direction is east. So it's east for both orange and yellow.
Got it.
So a yellow is associated with feelings of cheer and optimism, just like the rays of the sun. It's a primary color. It triggers our nervous system, making it effective in caution signs or even taxi cabs, which is really
Oh, right,
interesting.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it also has some of the most polarized associations. So it stands for, it has both confidence and cowardice,
Hmm.
which is interesting. It's highly stimulating and can enhance feelings of positivity and high self-esteem. It's often conflated with metallic gold. Both colors are connected with illumination and the divine.
Ooh.
Too much yellow can trigger feelings of anxiety, annoyance, or depression, which is so interesting because it's like a sunny color and it's supposed to be like happy and
Yeah,
joy. But if you get too much of it, it can,
right.
potentially trigger.
Well, that's an interesting thing because I just got this like light therapy light for my
Mhm.
seasonal depression, and it has two modes. And one is the one you're supposed to use during the day, and it almost has like a bluish tint to it.
Hmm.
It's really bright. And so it's more on the cooler spectrum of light, but then it
Mhm.
also has the yellow one, like a more yellowy orange light that you're supposed to use at night. So it's supposed to block the blue light, kind of like even if you get blue light on your phone and those kinds of things, it can
Yeah.
stay awake. So it's kind of supposed to make it. So I don't know. I'm just curious how that fits in, but
Oh,
I guess the
interesting.
sunlight has multiple different rays that are useful for different reasons. So it's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is green, and this stands for things like abundance, balance, center, earth, envy, growth, jealousy, and experience, love, luck, wealth, prosperity, renewal. The energy center is the heart, which is interesting because, like, I don't know, I associate like the heart with red.
Mhm.
Um, so it's interesting that's green. I get it when I read the words like life, nature, movement, prosperity, balance. Like I see
Yeah.
that how that is. And then this is one of mine. Pale green is one of like the Libra's
Mm.
colors. The day of the week is Friday. The direction is north.
Hmm.
It's green is created by blue and yellow. It sits exactly in the center of the visible spectrum. It's the easiest color for us to see and requires very little adjustment from the eyes, which may be responsible for its restful and soothing qualities. I would have never thought
Interesting.
that.
Yeah, I would not have thought of that either.
But it makes
Huh.
sense because like I think we've talked in our nature episode
Right.
about the benefits of like just being in a green
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. And bringing
So
plants
it's like,
in your home. Yeah.
right, yeah. So it makes sense. Let's see. Green is also the color of the heart energy center, which sits within the heart space and relates to our feelings of love and compassion. It is the central most energy center, giving the heart space a sense of unity and balance.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me tell you about my collage. So I made this collage in the back of the book. There's like different ways to like basically like make your own like spells or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
use magic with the colors. And
Uh-huh.
so um it's called Modern Art for Manifestation. And so you
Mm.
basically just get like construction paper and then you like cut it up into the shapes and the colors
Yeah.
and you kind of like, whatever. So this took me like an hour and a half to do, and I will share this on our Instagram. but it was so fun. Like when I did it, I was just
Wow,
like,
that's
oh
so
my gosh, like
cute.
I felt so good after, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cut this like by hand. Like it was kind of hard to do like the circle. Like I had to
Mhm.
really focus. So the main color is pale green. That's the like
Yeah, I noticed that, and you said that was one of your
background.
big colors. Yeah, okay.
Right. And then I also used darker green, and then like
Mhm.
a little bit of a lighter green, and then that
Right.
pale green again in a
Yeah.
square. And
Uh-huh.
the reason is I wanted to manifest a year of like balance and stability.
Ooh.
And that is like what, stuck out to me about the reading this, like balance, abundance, what else, harmony. Like I was like, that's what I want for this year.
Yeah,
And so that's why I made it like the main focal point is
yeah.
this green, because like I wanted to have like balance. And I actually I've been so balanced. Like I've been writing a lot. And one of my last writings, I like totally forgot that I like made this. And I was writing about how like just so far this year, like a lot of stuff has happened that I think
Uh-huh.
before, and my therapist said it before I even said it, but I was thinking it. She was like, if one of these things would have happened to you before, like this would have like crumbled you, like you would have. And I'm
Mm.
like, yes, like it would have. Like so many things have happened that I'm like, you know what? I'm not even like, this is bad, but like I'm really okay. Like I can't believe I feel
Right.
like happy and I still feel like steady.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm realizing now, talking to you, I manifested this at the very beginning
Yes.
of the year with these colors and these shapes.
Ah,
And I wrote an entire like journal reflection on how I feel
yeah.
so balanced, that like before, my mind felt like a tornado was happening on loop. That's
Mm.
what it felt like, constant, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
chaos.
I know
And
that feeling. I've had
yes,
that before.
and now it feels like a garden where there is like noise
Mm.
sometimes. Like there's like, you hear the birds, the water, there's wind, but I'm still in the garden and there's no
Ah, I
tornado,
love that.
and it's balanced and it's steady and it's harmonious. And so
Mhm.
now that I'm telling you, I'm realizing, wait a second, I manifested this
That's
with
amazing.
this, back in December. And
Yes.
so I used a square because there's like a whole like section on shapes.
Uh-huh.
Because it says in here that the square is grounded.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense. It's got all four
yeah,
sides to really ground it. Yeah.
right. Some of the words are logic, stability,
Mhm.
structure, earth. It says that some consider it to be the shape of humanity itself. It has shaped cities as an architectural building block and artwork through grid systems. Um, let's see, what else does it say? In numerology, the number 4 is known as four square consciousness and signals
Mm.
security, practicality, discipline, and square. So I liked that part of it, that it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I kind of put those two. I want balance and stability and harmony.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, square is the shape of like stability. And so I
Yeah.
use the color of balance with the shape of
Mhm.
stability. And then it also says it represents a plethora of possibilities.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, so it says magic squares are a grid of numbers arranged so that the sum of the numbers in every row, column, and diagonal will be the same. They've had
Mm.
significance ranging from the purely mathematical to the spiritual and cultures across the globe. So yeah, so I made that like my center. The square is in the
Yeah.
center, the green is, and so that's why I did that. And I realized now as I'm talking to you, it's so cool that I really
Yes.
feel like
Yeah,
I've
that's
gotten
right.
that. Yeah, like I just, that's what I really wanted. Last year, I
Mhm.
felt so chaotic.
Yeah, yeah.
My nervous system, my like mind, everything. I was just
Mhm.
frantic, I guess is a word. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want that this year. And it's just like, wow, like, um, I can't, there's things that's happened to me that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe am I freaking out? Because I feel like I would be freaking out right now, but I'm not freaking out. Like, I'm very chill. Like, I can't, so that's one of the things. And that's why I chose green. And I
Right.
guess while we're on it, I'll talk about the other ones.
Okay.
So I have a sun,
Mhm.
and I have like kind of like the foundation of the sun, like the background colors and the rays
Right.
in yellow.
Uh-huh.
And so I actually picked yellow because it's the words confidence, determination, and positivity stuck out to me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to step into like being more confident this year.
Yes.
and be like more positive.
Yes.
And so that's why I chose that. And like, I actually chose the sun. Well, it kind of fits with yellow, but also in the book, in the shape section, let's see. The sun, it says nearly every culture has an association with the sun, and in many religions, the sun is a deity. For example, Ra in ancient Egypt and Apollo in ancient Greece. The sun brings us warmth, vitality, fertility, and light. At the same time, it can also bring intense heat and drought. It's typically associated with fire and the Chinese principle of yang energy, which is correlated with action and vibrancy. It also illuminates the earth for us and is seen as the bringer of knowledge.
Ooh.
And so I liked the idea of like the warmth, the vitality, the vibrancy and action. I felt like it kind of went with the confidence.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's why I kind of made it the I did yellow and then the sun, and then kind of like the inner circle of the sun, I
Mhm.
did orange. And so I picked orange actually for the day of the week.
Ooh.
So Wednesday is the day of the week for orange. And that is for one of my classes that I'm taking this semester. And I was nervous because
Yeah.
it's been like almost 4 years since I've taken a class. So I was like
Uh-huh.
nervous to take a class. I was nervous to take graduate level classes. And I
Mhm.
kind of like was starting it earlier than I thought was going
Uh-huh.
to, like a semester earlier. And so I was like nervous, and I was like, you know what? I want to have confidence.
Yes.
Because that class is also like a math class, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I'm bad at math anymore, because it's not true, and I'm not speaking
Yeah.
that anymore.
Didn't you
I'm like,
get a good mark on your test for
I did. Yeah. I got like
math?
on my first assignment, I got like a 96, and I was like, what? I was like, for math. And I'm like really understanding it. And so like,
Yeah.
that's something I've worked on a lot in therapy, is my relationship with math and like
Ooh.
thinking differently about
Yeah.
myself in relation. So that's why I chose orange though, because of the day of the week. And so I wanted the confidence, the success that's part of orange
Mhm.
in that class. And then the center of the sun has like a little baby heart in it,
Is that
and
pink?
it's pink. Yes. And let me pull up pink. Um, so I chose pink because the words calm, um, cheerful, compassion, that's something like I wanted to embody, like with
Yeah.
all of the success and the
Mhm.
confidence.
Yes.
Um, the planet it's related to is
Mhm.
Venus, and Venus rules over love, relationships, and beauty, among other things.
Mhm.
And to me, like I also thought of like friendship
Yeah.
with relationships.
Mhm.
So that's I threw that in there. And then the last shape is a purple triangle, and it's again, it has like two layers to it, but they're
Huh?
both like purple. And I chose this color also for the day of the week. My other class is on Thursday. And so I was like,
Oh,
okay,
that's a good idea.
yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And this is crazy now that I'm reading this. Some of the key words and why I chose it was creativity, inspiration, imagination, intuition,
Mhm.
luxury magic, wisdom, thought. And my class on Thursday ended up being a class where the a lot of creativity is
Ooh.
like needed for it. Like right as we started, we had this huge project to do, and I had to do like this whole PowerPoint, and like it took a lot of creativity. And it's kind of like the professor likes you
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
creative. Like she wants you to be creative.
yeah.
And so it's interesting that I chose purple, and because I could have easily chosen it for Wednesday's
Mhm.
class, but I
Mhm.
chose it for the one that actually, now that I know, requires the creativity, requires like
Wow.
imagination. So it's a really cool
That
thing.
is,
And
I mean,
it's
that thing is magic. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make
right.
one.
It's so fun. And you can do it for anything. It's not just for like the new year.
Mhm.
I just did it because I got this book like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before the new year. But like you can do it if you like are just dealing like with one thing in your life, or if
Mhm.
you like um I don't know, like for your birthday, or
Yeah, yeah.
for like, I mean, like anything, like for the month, like you could
Right.
just like make it. So yeah. And then just to go over the last few, blue, it's kind of similar to some of the ones I talked about, calming,
Mhm.
flow, healing. I love that. intellect, logic, loyalty, technology, trust. The energy center is the throat.
Mhm.
The element is water. I don't think I talked about that but that kind of like makes sense with
Yeah, that
blue.
does make sense. Yeah.
And the direction is west, the planet's Neptune. So people most commonly pick blue as their favorite color. This could be because
That's my favorite color.
I know, I was gonna say it's your favorite color. This could be because our brains love blue. I did not know this. On a psychological level, blue can improve mental clarity. It's also highly calming, which also, talking about the interior design rule, like, the rule is like, don't paint a wall red, but
Yeah.
also, I don't know if it's a rule, but I've just noticed blue is such a common color in people's homes. Like, I feel like everybody's house I've gone to has some kind of blue, like either like room, either the wall or like decor. I know like our bed, we don't have blue in our living room, but our bedroom, are like comforters, like a bluish green with like teal pillows. So like, yeah, and it is really calming. I do like it for that reason. So that makes sense. I don't know if it's like a rule, but I have noticed in a lot of people's houses, people love decorating with blue. So blue light is tied to circadian rhythm, our inner clock that helps govern when we're awake or asleep. Blue light treatment can actually ease the blues, like depression,
That's what I was
which is,
talking about, my light. Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh
that
my
actually
gosh.
goes right
Okay,
with
that
what you're
makes sense.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Huh.
Okay. That's so cool. It can, yeah, here it is. It can alleviate symptoms of depression, seasonal affective disorder, and more. So like that makes sense why they use that, because they
Yeah.
use that
Okay.
one during the day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of like helping you, like maybe something the sun would normally do.
Right. Right.
Okay, that's so cool. Um, let's see. Blue rarely appears in the natural world except for the sky and water. And we've actually talked about how we love the water so much. I wonder if the color has something to do with that. I've never thought about it, but
Yeah.
maybe.
I definitely think it does for me. It's not the only thing I
Yeah,
like about it, but I don't like muddy looking water. I only like
I
blue
don't
water.
either. Yeah. Blue also has numerous religious significance, and is tied to the water element. It's a symbol of purification and healing in many religious rituals. Let's see. The throat energy center, like I said, located in the center of the throat, is symbolized by the color blue. This area of the body is thought to govern communication and sound, which makes
Mhm.
sense. Like calm, cleanse, reflection. Like it makes sense that it would
Yeah.
kind of govern those. So we talked about purple. Just another thing about purple, because I feel like you would love this.
Yeah.
Because it is the color for intuition and like
Yeah.
luxury and magic, royalty. So it says, from Cleopatra to the musician Prince, purple has been enjoyed over the world as a symbol of royalty. It has associations with status, luxury, and power, beginning as early as the 15th century, which is true because I remember as a kid, like the thing they would drape over the like cross, and I was gonna say
Oh,
fake
yeah,
cross,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
guess it was a real cross in church, was like a purple like
Yes,
thing,
yes.
because like purple
Robe,
was
yeah.
Jesus's color, that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
royalty.
Uh-huh.
So like I remember that, and I'm
Right,
sure like they're saying like other religions use it too.
right, right.
um yeah, and so another thing it says is, in the United States, the Purple Heart is a badge of honor awarded by
Mhm.
the US military to soldiers who have been wounded or killed while serving. It's also in traditional witchcraft. It's used as a color to enhance creative and, I said that weird, creative and meditative abilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And its sign is the third eye. And it says that because it's actually indigo, so like a certain shade
Mhm,
of purple, and it sits within the center of the brow. Like we said, it
mhm.
helps us see the unseen and tap into our intuition, imagination, and
Yes.
creativity. And a lot of your intuition stuff is purple.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you do that on purpose?
Sort of. So, um, I felt like purple was the color of intuition. I'm not sure if I read it anywhere. I just felt like
Your
that just
intuition telling you
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's the color.
My intuition just felt like that was right. But then also, and I don't know exactly how this moves into things, but like I used to do a lot of red, like I had a red jacket, I had like a red
Yeah.
turtleneck shirt that I used when I was in advocacy work, which was really associated with courage and fire and, just power and strength and all those things. And that is also part of my sign, being a
Mhm.
Leo, like that type of color. But I've found that I've almost overdone that. And so as I've kind of switched from, I just still do some advocacy, but I've kind of balanced my life more, that I wanted to flow almost to the other side of the color spectrum. So
Mhm.
I really was leaning into like the purple side of the spectrum, and then also blue. Like a lot of my vision boards have that, because that's like, for me, it just feels healing and calming. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of came to my mind that it almost feels like a balancing color. Like if you are
Yeah.
one sign, I wonder if you need some more of the other spectrum of
Yeah.
color to
Oh,
balance it out. I
interesting.
don't know, but as I've done that, there's been other action associated with it, but I wondered if, as you were talking, like if that is a thing, if you've overemphasized one color or the traits of one color in your life, it's better to balance it with something on the other end of the spectrum.
That is so interesting. And before I even knew any of this, like I always thought like the vibe was right for thinking about like your intuition stuff
Hmm.
being like purple. Like I'm like, oh, that
Yeah,
the vibe is just right here.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
like your advocate stuff. Like I know what you're talking about, the red blazer and like
Mhm.
it just the vibe is right, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like that speaks to like, yeah, like we're all energy and everything's energy. And so like
Mhm.
we can know these things without really knowing them,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
without reading the book, without having like we're lucky enough to have scientists
Right.
who can tell us these things, but like we can know these things without like factually, like knowing them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's really interesting. And then I talked about pink some affection, calm, gentleness, intensity, love, sensitivity, romance, softness,
Mhm.
sweetness, and it was the last color in the English language to be named. And it actually didn't show up in the Oxford English Dictionary until the late 17th century. So before that, it was just like a pigment, not like a color. Um, let's see, a lighter, softened version of the fiery passion of the color red. Pink has romantic and intimate connotations. Like I said, love, relationships, beauties. It's often mapped to sweetness and appears on a lot of like candies and sugary things and like
Right, right.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
In many English speaking countries today, pink is commonly associated with femininity. However, this wasn't always the case. An, an 1893 article in the New York Times advised always give pink to a boy and blue to a girl. By the end of the
Interesting.
1940s, these associations had switched for reasons not entirely known. I thought I remembered learning in a class that had something to do with like toy production.
That
And so
could
like
be.
that's why they
I
switched it. But
I've also heard it had something to do with like Nazi Germany, that they marked gay men with pink, and so then it was associated.
oh,
I don't know if that's true, if that's just a rumor, but I
mhm,
mean, sometimes there's a bunch of things that cause
right.
it to have an association or something like that.
Right. And that's what's interesting in this is like it's saying that in certain countries it's associated with girls and there's still people to this day, which is so bizarre to me, that like will not wear like there's men who like will not wear pink
Ah, it's
because they're
so
like it's for
weird.
girls. I'm like, are we seriously doing this? Like, are we doing this right now? Like, it's like I'm like almost like, oh, you're joking, right? Because it's like
Yeah,
I can't even believe that is a thing. I'm like, that is what you're
I
worried
know,
about.
I know.
Like,
Will has this really cool t-shirt. It's like long sleeve, but it's from the brand Psycho Bunny, which is like a really, I don't know, cool
yes.
brand. They have a lot of vibrant things, and it has like a big hot pink streak down the side. And I mean, I think it looks really cool, and I don't
Yeah.
associate it with femininity. It's just
It's
kind of
just
like,
a
I
cool
don't know,
color.
cool
Yeah.
color.
I
Yeah.
saw this reminds me, I saw a sweatshirt that I might get on
Uh-huh.
Etsy, and it was like, I'm too clumsy to be around fragile masculinity. And I'm like, this is the facts because when people, if like men say like I can't wear pink, that's for girls, I'm
All
like,
right.
I'm like,
Really, a
Like, I don't even,
color is going to
I'm
mess up
like,
your day.
right. I'm like, this doesn't even, it's not even worth a response, honestly, because you are so like your masculinity is so
Yes,
fragile that you like, yeah, I can't.
yes.
Anyway, I'm just like on a rant. So that's pink. The shades can mean different things. So like
Okay.
brighter versions of pink, like magenta, can be
Mhm.
strengthening and invigorating.
Yeah.
Coral can give a sense of maturity. Lighter pink can connotate gentle feelings of nourishment. So like this is
Yeah.
one which I think is really true. Like certain
Mhm.
colors give off like certain vibes, which is interesting because my desk is like a coralish pink.
Hmm.
And maturity, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that has anything to do with like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway, and then we have ones like brown, colors like brown, comfort, death, dependable, fertility, earth, hard work, humility,
Hmm.
organic. The planet is Earth. The element is Earth. The direction is north, and it's not actually related to one of the energy centers. It's actually rather it's a shade rather than a hue.
Okay.
It's actually a very dark orange. Um, and it's created by combining three primaries, blue, red, and yellow, and then adjusting it to affect its lightness or darkness.
Interesting.
It's not on the color wheel, but they included it because there's powerful associations with it. The color of earth, the color of rich soil that provides
Yeah.
nourishment, and to where we return after life. The color of strong tree trunks gives us a sense of grounding and stability. So I could have actually used this in my square, but
Right. Right.
brain was calling me. But I feel
Yeah.
like those two together would be really powerful too,
Yeah. Yeah.
like green
That's
and
why, I mean,
brown.
why trees, I think, are so grounding.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the brown. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I think brown is the color that initially people are like, oh, brown, like,
Right.
but it's actually like when I think about it, I'm like, I actually really like the color brown. I have a lot of brown like furniture in my house. I have a lot of I love like the like dirt and like I don't like muddy water, but like
Right.
soil,
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
I love earthworm. I don't know if I've ever told you
Mhm.
this. I like love earthworms. Like I
No,
had
I didn't
pet
know that.
earthworms for a while in college, like as an adult, not a child.
Oh
Um
gosh, I didn't know that. That's
I
cool.
freaking love them. They're so cute. Like to hold them and they like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they're so cute. But I love like picking them up with like some moist
Uh-huh.
soil and like them like crawling. I love
So
that so
cute.
much.
So cute.
And they're just so cute to me. But
Right.
brown kind of reminds me of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then it says like a hot cup of coffee or a slice of chocolate cake. Brown is also associated with warmth and comfort.
Mhm.
Um, and it, like we said, it can also sometimes be seen as boring or drab or dry, but I feel like it just depends on your like perspective
Right.
because like there is like so much, like I'm just thinking about like nourishment and like the soil, trees, like
Right. Brown
yeah,
hair is beautiful. Brown skin is
brown hair.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Brown
just
eyes, like
right.
Nate has brown eyes, and I'll always say, like, oh my God, your eyes are just so beautiful. Because Brown actually has like so much depth. Like when
Yeah,
the
it does.
sun hits his eyes, I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa, there's like there's so much going on, in the
Yeah.
brown eyes, and I love it. And then we have white. So some of the key words: coldness, consciousness, death, which I think that was one of the words for brown too, death. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting. Um, peace, innocence, surrender, spirituality. The planet is the moon, which is,
Hmm.
you can see that the day of
Yeah,
the week is
yeah.
Monday. So white is fascinating because it can be viewed as both the absence of color and at the same time all colors, which is really
Interesting.
cool.
Yeah,
When
because
you
white
see
light is like the spectrum of light. Yeah.
right,
Interesting.
when you see white, it is actually all the colors within the visible spectrum being reflected back at us in perfect harmony, which is
Hmm.
so cool.
Oh, that's a
Um,
cool thing to think of.
uh-huh. It's impossible to achieve true white unless it is viewed within pure unfiltered sunlight.
Hmm.
So actually, when we see white, we
Yeah.
actually see an extremely light shade of another color.
Huh.
Isn't that cool? Like,
Yeah, and
so
that makes sense. Like if you do anything, if anybody's watching, and I know you do this, Charlie, like with Canva, and like you're
uh-huh.
making the colors, like you can get white from any color if you go light enough,
Yes. Oh my gosh, I never
maybe
thought
it's
of
like
that.
painting on the color wheel or whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Um, it is the crown energy center. Governs our connection to a higher power, and halos, which signify a divine connection with spirit.
Hmm.
And those sometimes are depicted as white. It's connected with death. It's a color of mourning in numerous cultures, which I think is interesting because in the United States, black is usually the color for mourning. But I have heard that white is in some
Right. Huh.
cultures. I don't know which ones, but and then ghosts are often portrayed in white. So I can
Right.
definitely see how it's like associated with death.
Right. Right.
So yeah. And then I think this is the last one is black.
Mhm.
So this stands for authority, confidence, creation, death, again, death, fertility, formality, glamour, gravity, sophistication, space, substance. Um, Again, like white, it is a shade, not a color. It's all colors of pigment combined, which creates the absorption of light. True black is almost impossible to view since it would require no light to be present, which is cool. Which is
Yeah.
like like a black hole.
Yeah.
So what we think as black, like what we perceive as black, is actually a dark version of another color.
Hmm.
Um, so black and its association with death go way back. Many deities of the underworld across cultures are associated with the color black. It's used as a color of mourning in some cultures. Yeah, and so it also says that color has taken on all different kinds of significance and fashion. The little black dress created by Coco Chanel in the 1920s is an icon of glamour,
Yeah.
sophistication. Countercultures like the beats, punks, and goths have all adopted the color black as an expression of rebellion or effortless coolness.
Hmm.
So those are the colors. Isn't that so cool? Do you feel
That is
like,
amazing.
I know blue was already like your favorite
Mhm.
color and you already attracted to it. And it's so interesting because like our brains psychologically love blue
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
helps with like depression
Yeah.
and but are any of the other ones like sticking out to you?
Well, I think we sort of talked about this before, but just how you're kind of intuitively drawn to certain colors for certain things. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt like red meant strength when I was doing a lot of like advocacy
Mhm.
work, protests, those types of things. And that whenever I see blue, like my vision boards are full of blue pictures, oceans,
Right.
things like that. And it just does give me this sense of calm. And so that really fits. And then the purples and the indigo and violet kind of colors really do make a lot of sense with intuition. And even on that note, I remember when I first started really getting into visualization meditations, one of my first ones where I saw something was it was just like I closed my eyes, I was doing this visualization, and all of a sudden, like the color just flashed to my eyes of purple. And it was just it was like sparkling purple. And
Mhm.
that was really when I started kind of heightening my ability to um, kind of connect with spirit and those types of things. And so I don't know, it's so interesting how those things work. I was also thinking about like I am so drawn to blue. It's my favorite color, but also this sense of calmness. And Will
Mhm.
has blue eyes, and like that is one of my favorite things about
Oh,
him is his blue eyes.
yeah.
And his favorite color is like orange, which is like associated with my sign, and it's very fiery. And his
Uh-huh.
personality is very calm and cool, like blue. And
Uh-huh.
mine is very fiery. And just kind of even how even that balances in those directions of things we're attracted to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'm just stretching things too much, but as you were talking, those are the
No.
things that came up, and I was like, I wonder.
That is so cool. No, I love that. I don't think that's stretching it at all. Like the fact that you can even find the meaning and like the significance in things like Will's eyes or even what
Yeah,
his favorite color is and compared to like what is your energy and what is his energy and how does that line up? Like I don't think that's stretching it at all. I think that's really cool.
yeah,
Um and there's also like in the book, I'm not going to go through it because like I felt like the most important thing was to get through the
yeah, yeah.
colors, but they give not only like the basic shapes, which is like I used like the square
Mhm.
and the triangle, but they do like symbols. So like
Okay.
um common esoteric symbols, so like the crescent, the eye, they do the Wiccan symbols,
Yeah.
which they have like one for goddess and or triple
Mhm.
goddess, spring, like stuff like that in there, astrological symbols. So different
Wow.
ones for the like astrological signs, and then like retrograde has a symbol, that type of stuff. Vernacular symbols, so it has just stuff that like there's like a smiley face that means happiness. There's
Yeah.
like a fire that looks like a flame, stuff like
Mhm.
that. And then aesthetic magic symbols. So this person actually created their own set of symbols inspired by vernacular and Wiccan iconography. Um, and it's really cool. Like I don't know if you can see like some of
Oh,
them.
wow. Yeah. They almost look like emojis.
Yeah, like they kind of are, and they have like different ones like community. They have one for community, like a shape for community,
Wow.
confidence,
Huh.
creativity, healing, like things you wouldn't think, support, release,
Yeah.
growth. So it's really cool. And so basically this book is awesome. You would love it, and it really
Yeah.
takes you through like the different things. And in the back, so I did the modern art manifestation, but
Mhm.
there's other ones too. So like one of them is an altar design, which I kind of have that like low key and
Yeah.
without realizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you actually the one who you made me realize when I like posted about we have like these shelves on our wall, and it's like all these
Uh-huh.
like black and white pictures of like our
Yeah.
grandparents. Most of them have passed away that are
Uh-huh.
up there. And I have like a rock from my grandpa up there. We have some of the marbles, which are like
Mhm.
all the frames are like a silver, and then the marbles are from Nate's grandpa. He had like collected like I can't remember like 2,000 marbles since he
Oh
was like
my
a
gosh.
kid.
Wow.
And we put like a bunch of like the blue and white like
Uh-huh.
calming colors. And so this is saying like you can like make an altar, which is basically, it sounds like religious, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
It's
Right.
basically just a highly curated grouping of objects. So like
Mhm.
that's what like people do who work at museums, like
Right.
curators, like
Yes.
they
Yeah.
curate
Absolutely. It's like a
beautiful.
centerpiece, even,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
a
like
table and yeah.
right. And so I was like, oh my gosh, when I saw this, I was like, I want to do
Yeah.
something like this. Like I kind of did it with like the ancestor
Uh-huh.
wall, but and I have like this huge wall above my desk that's like so colorful because I wanted
Mhm.
something really vibrant and happy when I worked, which I feel like is kind of like an altar. But I really want to do something like this says like traditional neo-pagan altars are created from objects that represents each one of the four elements. So like example
Mhm.
would be a
Yeah.
plant for earth, a feather for air, seashells for water, and a candle for fire. You don't
Mm.
have to do that, but like you can add
Right.
photographs,
Right.
symbols, crystals. So I definitely want to do that. And like this is a picture of like one of the altars.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
That's
pretty.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
So anyway, and there's just different things you can do. And I think it's not limited to just like altars, or like you can make a custom
Right.
symbol,
Right.
or um make magic candles. It's not
Mhm.
just limited to that. I was thinking like I feel like it's about your space too. Like
Yeah,
when you
absolutely.
understand like the shapes and colors, like you can kind of
Mhm.
like, and we have done that to an extent. I feel like
Mhm.
we followed just like the vibe. Like I wanted like a
Yeah. Yeah.
cozy place, like a safe haven type of thing.
Yes.
But I was like, I'm gonna start thinking about that more. Like I've fought so hard to have plants in our house. Not Nate. I didn't find Nate. I fight
Right.
our
Right.
cat, Winston. You should see that. I'm gonna have to send you a picture. Our
Okay.
plant, and this is non-toxic for cats. We got it because it was non-toxic for cats. And like
That was probably a good idea.
he gets in moods and he just like shreds, like the poor thing. And we don't always catch him. And we're like, oh my gosh, like I just sent you a picture, but
Like a
he like
little net over it or something.
we should. Well, I read that you can like soak like hot
Oh, is that a
peppers.
money tree?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And like he
Yeah.
has shredded it, and
I
I feel
see that too.
horrible. And then
Oh
he
my
throws it
gosh.
up. I mean, it's not toxic, but he'll just like throw it up. I'm like, okay, well, if you wouldn't have done that, like, but I'm like, it's important to me to
Right.
have plants in the
Yes.
space
Yes.
for the energy that they give. And
Right.
so I'm like, if I have to fight this cat to keep this, I don't know if that like negates the calming, grounding, because I'm like fighting Winston, but I'm like,
It
Winston,
neutralizes
like,
it.
right. Maybe so. But anyway, um, So anyway, yeah, it's not just about like
Mhm.
making the collages and stuff. Like it's about how you design your space.
Right.
Even if it's just like a small corner, how you like put out like, I don't know, like anything. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
even have to be like something like crazy, like interior design, like nobody
Right,
needs
right.
like a degree to do this. Like
Yeah.
just how you like put your books out. Like I have like Nate's
Mhm.
Harry Potter books back here,
Right,
and they're
right.
like the way the colors are, I like put like a gold frame in front of it. And I feel like it like the
Mhm.
vibe is really
Yes.
so anyway, yeah, that's the magic of color. And I hope I didn't talk too much. I was got so
No,
excited
that's
because I think
great. That was so good. I really enjoyed that a lot. And I definitely want to get that book because I love how not only do they show you the meanings of things, but then they show you how you can make like that collage that you made or the altars. And it just seems like it's really practical to kind of start using it in your life.
yes. Come visit me and we'll go to the shop and get you the
Yeah,
book.
absolutely. Well, do you have a serendipitous story? Because I know I do.
You go first and I'll let you know if I have one. My brain is like
Okay.
going a mile a minute.
Well, this is sort of a short one, but I think I had mentioned on the podcast before um, that Will and I went to Puerto Rico. Of course, you know that, Charlie. And we stayed at this Airbnb, and it was really fun. And it was like probably one of like the day before we left. We walked out of our Airbnb, and it was onto like the street, because it was like restaurants and little shops around. And as I walked out, I did not have any makeup on and I didn't have a bra on. Just letting them
You're
float.
like
Um,
vacation mode.
yeah, exactly. And this woman, she's like, "Hey, are you Ashley Easter?" And I was like, "What? What?" She's like, "Are you Ashley Easter?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. Who are you?" And she's like, several years ago, I talked to you when I was going through something really hard. I think it was something related to maybe like a abuse situation with my advocacy work. I didn't even remember the conversation because honestly, I've had so many conversations
Mhm.
with people on that topic, and I always, um, love connecting with people, but I don't always know what their face looks like compared to what the conversation was that we had. But she remembered and she saw me, and she didn't live there. She was also traveling. And
What?
it was just so serendipitous. I thought that we saw each other, that she recognized me even when I didn't have like my makeup and hair done. And,
Uh-huh.
I didn't look like any of my pictures online at that moment. But it was just such a cool moment. And I guess to me it just reminded me that like it's a small world, we're all connected, and
Yeah.
just made me wonder how many times we cross paths with people that we don't realize it, but that we're just kind of entangled in each other's lives. And so it was really cool.
That is such a good way to end the episode because our next episode is a mini episode of like that exact thing you said about how we cross paths with people, which you're gonna want to listen to this
Yes,
episode
it's pretty
and stay tuned because it's really good. But I do love that. And I totally agree that I think we do cross paths and we don't know with a lot of people
yeah,
that we are connected to. Well, like we said, we're connected to everyone, but there's like, isn't it like 6 degrees of separation between like
yeah,
every
yeah.
like from
And
every
I think it's
person?
less than that with social media. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know, a
probably
couple of
so.
years ago, I knew people who knew like President Obama. Like I like
Really?
like it was like 3 degrees away from that. And not people who would probably
Whoa.
ever introduce me to him, but like it's so amazing, like just
Yeah,
how few degrees away from meeting somebody. And
right.
it's
Oh,
wild.
that's so cool. But yeah, so I don't think I have one. I think that was a good one to end
Okay,
on,
okay.
but that is almost exactly what the next episode's about. So definitely
Yeah.
stay tuned.
All right. And hey, everybody, if you have a serendipitous story, feel free to send it to us. We love to receive those. And you can do that by email at pod.serendipity@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram at serendipity.pod. And you can send us a DM there. You can write out your serendipitous story, or if you want to, you can send us a voice memo. We love to share voice memos.
Yes. And also another thing we love to share are reviews. If you enjoy the podcast, you can head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. If you take a screenshot of the review and send that to us, we have a free gift for you. And also, I just became aware that Spotify has a new rating feature. You can actually
Ooh,
rate us. I don't think you can leave a review, but you can rate us on Spotify. So if you rate us on Spotify and just send us that rating, we'll also
yes.
send you a free gift. But we would love a 5-star rating. We are not forcing anyone to give us a 5-star rating, but it would make us very happy.
Oh, come on, guys.
Uh,
You know this is a 5-star show, so
yes. But yes. So anyway, like we said, you definitely want to tune in next week for some like a seriously magical, like jaw-dropping story. And yeah, we'll see you next time.